Hi, Chris Chesney here from RepairFi Institute. We're going to perform an ADAS calibration using a launch torque that can connect to the asTech app, through the asTech app, to our asTech technicians and the OE scan tools that we have located in a data center here in Dallas. So many times you're using an aftermarket tool and you may not even have ADAS set up on your tool. In the case of this torque, it has an ADAS function, and we could open up that function, but you have to activate that function. And you have to have a way to set the target. I've already set the target on this 2020 Camry. We're going to do a radar, adaptive cruise control radar sensor calibration on this vehicle. But maybe in my shop I haven't activated that functionality on my device. I've got a trihedral. I can follow OE service information and set it up right, but I just don't feel comfortable using the device, or I have an activated ADAS account software on my device, or this is something that I don't have in my software package available to me, and I need assistance in calibrating that. So at asTech, we do calibrations every day remotely, and we'll help you set up the target. We'll provide you with OEM specs. We can walk you through the setup, but when the target is set up, then we'll use the factory tool to actually perform the calibration. The other thing that we have the ability to do with this device and others is guide you through a dynamic calibration where you're driving down the road, and on many cars you need to be connected to the factory server or to the cloud to activate and monitor that dynamic drive cycle and that calibration to completion. So in those cases where you need assistance, you can connect through the asTech team. We'll use the factory tool, and through chat or a phone conversation, we can walk you through or drive you through that calibration. Might be a Subaru calibration where you need to know the progress of that calibration. We can guide you through that. So in this case, on this 2020 Camry, I've got the VCI connected to a hardwire or an Ethernet port. I've got the battery maintainer on and running at 13.5 volts. And I'm in a situation where I'm not going to perform anything other than a request for help from my good friend Anthony at asTech by submitting for an ADAS calibration on this vehicle. So the way I'm going to do that is from my home screen, I just press the home button on the bottom screen, and I can see my asTech app icon in the center. And when I open that up, it immediately goes to my shop account and shows me what I have in the way of vehicles available or technology available in vehicles I've already scanned. I'm going to go to my device menu, and I have connected my device, which it gives me a serial number. I have 6 devices in my account, and I can tell whether or not the serial number is the right one. Many times you want to look at that. This serial number ends in 5388, and I can simply turn over my device and see 5388 on the back. And I can tell that this unit is waiting for the technician to connect, so it's waiting on me to submit a new request. And I can do that right here in this blue button. I select New Request. I say, would you like to pre-populate this information? Yes. And so it's pre-populated the VIN and the vehicle to the submission form. And here I have calibration, health check, and module programming. I'm going to touch calibration. And in the calibration, it's got the information that I need. Are there any warning lights on? So I'm going to say no, I didn't have a warning light on, if I can make my fingers work. I've got the preferred method of contact. So I can select here, text, and he can text me, and I can enter my phone number, and don't copy that down because I get enough text from my wife. And so now I can add notes to this, and over here on the other side, I've got the target system that I use to place it. So I select that, and I'm going to scroll down and select Other, or do I have OEM here? I don't. So I'm going to select Other, and I've used OEM to do that. And now I'm selecting the calibration that I want to use. And I've got radar without coding, And I've got that selected, and we should be ready to go. Radar without coding. Then I slide up here, perform full post scan following calibration. I'm going to ask him to do that, yes. So now we're ready to submit, and we press yes. We're currently creating your request. So we can see my work order. I have one active work order on my screen. And Anthony's taken over the screen here. So he's going to show you his dashboard. There's his work order. He's got a Camry in his queue. Gosh, I wonder where that came from. And Anthony's going to grab that. So this is a view of technician. This is what our technicians work in every day. And you can see that the shop device is the VCI that we have. You can see our remote tool is the TechStream 2303. That's in our Plano data center, PDC. And he's going to connect. You can see it's pairing. Now, while the vehicle's connecting, I'm going to show you that we've set up the target for this previously using OEM methods. And we can see that the orange tape on the floor where we have the plus sign, that's the horizontal and vertical points where we mount the target. Target's at the right height. And we will be shooting or calibrating to that target here momentarily. It's performing the health check. Engine module is scanning it right now. That's the big one. Takes a minute or so to get through that one, and then it goes through the rest of the 37 modules in a couple minutes. Okay, so health check's complete. So now you can see he's reviewing the health check. The real thing he needs to look at is pre-collision 2, which is where the radar calibration lies. There's no DTCs in that module. So now he's getting ready to go into the module. He goes to System Select. He's going to select the pre-collision module. He'll open up that module. And he has a utility that he's going to use that allows him to look through that radar sensor and see what the calibration looks like today. How is it related to that target that we have set up using OEM process? And when that reading comes up here in just a second, it's looking at the trihedral right now. It's receiving that information back. And we've got a deviation of vertical by 0.3 of a degree. So we've been moving around on this car a little bit, so we've probably adjusted the height of it by 0.3 of a degree. That's not very much, but we're going to go ahead and calibrate that for you. So you can see the process. Clicks next. He's done this 1,000 times in his career. We do thousands of calibrations a day. And so now the front beam axis adjustment is complete. So he follows that up by going back to look at the axis misalignment reading, and which is what we looked at before. And remember, it was 0 horizontal, 0.3 of a degree vertical. And so it should read zeros is my bet. We might get a 0.1 every once in a while. It just depends on if we're kind of in between. So we've got an in-between number of 0.1, which is well within the specifications. It was within specifications, quite frankly, at 0.3. And so we're completed with this. And so what we would do in a normal situation is we'd run a health check again to make sure we didn't cause any issues in the system. But at this point, we're going, hey, you recalibrated it and you got 0 degrees. So he shot it twice, killed it the second time. He's pulling DTCs real quick to make sure he doesn't have any DTCs in this module. There's no DTCs. So at this point, this job is complete, and he will finalize this job, and we're ready to complete the job. With that, we'll sign off. Thanks for joining Repairify Institute. This is Chris Chesney.